Good morning, guys. Good morning from the mountains in Pennsylvania. What mountains? I'm not going to be able to tell you that. And I'm hoping this video is going to be usable because unfortunately, one thing that has been driving me crazy for a while, and I should have just dealt with, is my truck has very crappy windshield wipers. Wow, buddy, okay. Yeah, I have crappy windshield wipers. I really need some winter wipers, but I would have to supply them myself. So I haven't bothered to get those, and they're doing okay at this point in the morning. But what happens is a lot of times they will just clear the area above and below my field of vision. And then I noticed that they were clearing the area above and below the GoPro. I was just like, man, these things are working against me. Another funny thing that's happening this morning is my terrible PC, my company's PC that is really, really bad. Sometimes it just cracks me up because it is actually kind of funny. It keeps losing my location, but that's not the funny part. It's showing me like I'm driving through the trees right now, basically. But it also keeps doing this thing where it says I'm going like 99 miles an hour. Earlier it said I was doing 112. I was like, wow, I am flying. Oh man. And yeah, I was hoping to get some cool sunrise video for you guys, but there's not going to be any sun to be seen because I think it's another overcast day. It's still pretty though. I love seeing the snow on the trees. So I hope you guys can enjoy this video. And what I want to start doing is at least once a week showing you guys a sunrise video where we just chat about whatever is going on a given day and show the sunrise from my point of view so you guys can see it. I really love it. It's, when it's visible this week so far, it's just been overcast. It's only Tuesday, so who knows, maybe we'll get a nice sunrise in before the week is up. And that's one of the reasons why I don't mind getting up at such an ungodly early hour. I actually overslept today. I know I changed my alarm. I could swear I remember doing it, and what I'm thinking is I must have changed it and not hit the button that makes it stay changed, if that makes sense. Because I intended to get up today at 3:30 and I got up at 4. And I had woken up at 2:30 and looked at the clock. I woke up a bunch of times during the night last night, probably from too much caffeine during the day. And I woke up at 2:30. I was like, awesome, got another hour. And then I'm sleeping and I start to wake up and I'm like, it feels later than 3:30. I have such an accurate and sensitive internal clock that I normally know right away when it's later. Not that I can tell by the light because I keep my truck nice and dark. I cover my face, I cover my eyes so I can just, be in my little personal bubble of darkness. But yeah, I overslept a little bit until 4. I'm not surprised because I think I'm trying to catch up. We had the time change, so we set the clocks an hour ahead. On top of that, I went into Eastern time yesterday. That really threw me. That's like losing 2 hours, So getting up at 3:30 is like getting up at 1:30 for what my brain has been used to. And that's one of the things you just have to do. I think I never hear other truck drivers talk about the effect on them of changing time zones. And that surprises me because I feel like it's such an impactful thing. So yeah, they sent me to Pennsylvania again, and I was really glad about that because it's such an easy drive to me. It's the entire route up until right before this drop-off is on I-80. So the nice thing about that is through the whole state of Ohio, you're going to have plenty of rest areas to stop at that have plenty of parking and often have free showers and vending machines and whatever else, but they're really clean. I've said a few times that to me is if every state had what they have on the Ohio Turnpike for truck drivers, it would be such a lower stress occupation. It's just miraculous when you go somewhere that has a ton of parking and is clean. Last night I stayed at a Pilot in Ohio because I had kind of passed all of those. I was right at the Pennsylvania border. I had a fuel stop at that Pilot, so I was like, what the heck, if there's spaces, I'll just stay here, and I did. And then I parked, and it was a good thing I parked when I did. It was around like 5:40 p.m., and as I was parking, I could see the lot was starting to fill up. And then right after I parked, a guy parked directly to my right on my passenger side, and I went and took a shower. I came back, and I always get in on my passenger side so I can leave my shoes on. I don't wear my shoes like in my truck. The only thing that gets touched by my shoes that go outside the truck are the floor mats in front of the passenger seat and then on the driver's side, but I don't like walk in between the two. I'm laughing because it makes me think of how when I was a kid, it's so silly, but my mom has always been a cleaning lady, you know, like she used to clean houses, and now she works at a hospital, and she actually loves it, and I get it too. I'm like that. I love to clean. It's like therapeutic to me, and it's satisfying. When we were kids and she would clean our house, that was like every Monday she would clean our house, and you know, the rest of the week she would do other people's houses, and that was her job. But we would joke that this is kind of embarrassing, but I think it's funny. We had this old ass brown shag carpeting, and I'm gonna bleep the word because I'm trying to control my language on my channel, but we would call it brown shag, and then we started calling it brown swag. Anyway, yeah, that was a joke in our house, but the shag carpeting had like this rake, okay? If anybody who's watching this remembers the 70s that well, their mom might have had one of these things that is literally like a rake that you use to rake the shag carpet into like straight lines. So my mom would rake the carpet, right, after she vacuumed it. So my mom would rake the carpet, and then, you know, we would joke that we would hover over the carpet before my stepdad came home, so when he got home from work it would like look perfect. She just liked to have it like that for him when he came home. Not every day, just on Mondays, you know. Not that he really cared that much, but I don't know, it was just a nice thing, I guess. And so now I laugh when I think about like hovering over the floor in my truck, because there's no way I will let the boots that touch the floor of the truck stop and the ground outside the truck stop. There's no way those boots are going to touch any other area of the truck. It's bad enough they touch the floor mats at all, you know. I know some people probably get even more particular, like, you know, spray Lysol on your boots, which is not a bad idea. Or like when it's been really muddy out where I was, I would like put a plastic grocery bag down and just step right into that, you know, and like put my boots in that so they don't track dirt like mud on the floor mats. But it's a lot of effort to keep a truck clean. It sucks in a lot of dirt, and you got to wipe it down all the time and stuff if you want to keep your environment clean, keep your lungs clean, all that stuff. Where was I going with that? Wow, that was a whole tangent. So what I was going to say is, when I came back from taking my shower last night, this guy in the truck next to me, when I walked out, I noticed he was smoking a cig, because I'm kind of sensitive to that. I'm an ex-smoker, and I don't like having to breathe other people's smoke most of the time, although there's those weird moments where you like enjoy the smell of a cigarette. I can always identify when it's a menthol by the smell. And I'm like, man, that's weird. My mom always smoked menthols, and I always used to smoke menthols too, for the most part. So this guy next to me had, you know, I noticed he was smoking a cig. I come back, and he had dumped his whole ashtray on the ground between our two trucks on my passenger side, and that's where I get in. And I was like, wow. When people do that, I don't understand it. I'm like, who raised you? Who raised you? That, okay. I'm so tempted to go on another tangent. I'm like, that's somebody whose parents never like gave him a whooping or something, you know. Like, I know that's a controversial subject to bring up, but like, I think about What would have happened to me as a kid if I had done anything, like any type of precursor behavior to what would lead you as an adult to think it's okay to dump your cigarette butts on the ground between trucks where other drivers are going to step? Like, what is actually wrong with you? Or the pee bottles, the notorious pee bottles. I try to be respectful and not say sexist things, because sexism is crappy in any direction, you know. But I can't help but think that one reason why it's good for there to be more female truckers is that we tend to be, not always, but we tend to be much cleaner. Much cleaner. It really grinds my gears when I see this kind of behavior. I'm just like, what is your deal? I saw a guy stick his hand out the window with his coffee mug and dump his coffee on the ground. And it's like, bro, people are going to step there and then step in their truck. It's respect. Respect your fellow drivers. Have a little bit of common courtesy for each other. Like, it's not difficult. I don't get it. I was just thinking when I was saying about the sexism thing and like women can be slobs too, man. I had this roommate in college. Wow, she was interesting. She was a character, and I'm being nice about it when I say that. She was one of those women who I'm going on all kinds of stories. Apparently when the camera's not pointed at me, I can go to some weird places. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy it along with the view. This roommate, oh man, she had this tendency she had this sort of obsessive need to go after every single guy that was in her environment, especially if that guy was your guy. It was like she couldn't help herself. It was this weird, it wasn't like one of those sort of classic stories of like, oh, you know, she's just flirting with, no, it was like extreme. And it's funny because I was roommates with her for a pretty short time. Oh, and the whole reason I started talking about her is because she was an extreme slob, which is always weird too. It's like she would go after guys, but she smelled so bad. She would literally not shower for days. I called her a pseudo hippie because I felt like the lack of showering and her weird eating habits that made the whole house continuously reek like onions, and like her bedroom door had to stay closed. If you opened it, it smelled like onions. I swear, like the whole house. It was so gnarly. And I'm like, how are you going to go after guys when you stink like that? But anyway, I digress. It was an attention device. Like everything she did was for attention. It was very weird. She had a very interesting pathology. But and the funny thing is though, she did get guys because she was constantly luring them, and you know, college guys gonna identify a girl like that and just, you know, okay, she smells, I'll hold my breath. Oh man, the comments on this video are gonna get weird. I'm gonna have to I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. Anyway, so I was roommates with her when I first met my ex-husband, and I was just completely just head over heels with this guy, like instantly, you know. I went to his place once. There's a funny side story to this too. I'm telling all kinds of stories today. We walked over there. We used to walk everywhere. We went to school in DeKalb at Northern Illinois University. We need a break here. We're gonna go ahead and stop this video, and we're going to come back to it after our little bathroom break. But, okay, let me finish telling you my story while we pull over to this flying J or TA, whichever one we decide to stop at. So, okay, so we go there, and then, long story short, I kind of noticed that she's being flirty with the guy. But then afterward, the next day, I'm talking to him, and he's like, man, she was giving me the evil eye the whole time. I was like, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then the funny side story I was going to tell you is that we were walking there. It was Halloween night. I don't know why I remember. Well, I remember that because of what I'm about to tell you. So we were walking there, and it was probably like a 1.5 mile walk or something. Not too bad, you know. We're walking at night. It's the two of us. I was never afraid to walk anywhere at any time. And all of a sudden, we hear this guy say something like, hey, girls. And we turn around, and there's a guy with I don't know if he's wearing a trench coat or a robe. and he pulls that thing open, and he is literally wearing nothing but women's lingerie, and he sort of does this little hip shake. I mean, like, not really like anything to hide anything, okay? He's wearing like some lacy something or other, and he's just letting it all hang out. And he flashed us, and we were laughing so hard. And it's funny because that just speaks to the fact that it's a different time, because back then I thought it was hilarious. I was like, this is comedy, this guy is funny, I'm not even mad about it. We just looked at him, and they just kept walking, and we were laughing so hard we were in tears. We weren't laughing at him because of anything particular about him. We were laughing because he flashed us, and we thought it was funny, and he was wearing women's lingerie, and it was Halloween, and it just seemed like a hilarious thing for him to do. So there's my funny set of crazy college stories, and we're gonna stop because it is definitely time for a break.